Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Mrs. Mummypenny Talks. And we are now on to episode 9. And the guest I have with me today is, I have a guest every week. We've got Sammy from Up the Gains. So thank you ever so much for joining me on my podcast, season 6, which is the big questions.
Thanks, Lynn. I'm really excited to be here. How you doing?
I am very good, thank you. I'm very excited to have you on because I've listened to lots of your podcasts and I think you've got a really great interview style. So if you're good at interviewing people, you'll be good at answering questions as well. So what we're going to talk about is a perfect big question for you because of what you do with your business is why is the 9 to 5 over? And you actually suggested this, and I think it's such a brilliant topic to talk about. But before we go into the nuts and bolts of that, give me a bit of an introduction to you and where you've come from and why you do what you do. What is your why?
Oh, love that question to start off, Lynn. So my why is time, freedom, and creativity and positivity. They're my 3 non-negotiables. So I create my business to be able to drive those 3 things. That was something that I put in place around about 2 years ago, and now absolutely everything I do stems from that. But money is definitely the byproduct of that to be allow me to have those things. So I put up a post about this yesterday about what does wealth mean to you. You know, some people go, "Oh, £1 million," and other people go, "Yeah, I want time, freedom," so they don't even mention the word money. So it's very interesting, but my journey was not your typical, I'm not an accountant, I'm not trained in finance in any way. I'm self-taught completely. I came from £24,000 in debt in my mid-20s, had an aha moment on a beach in Vietnam, which was paid for by a credit card. And
How old are you now?
35.
Cool.
Yeah. So mid-20s, had that moment. So a decade now of kind of like learning everything there was to know about money, understood very quickly that the whole market was like Americans or needed an Oxford dictionary, and started to help people. And that was like friends and family. And then it was like friends and friends and friends and friends and friends and friends. And it just kind of kept growing. And then I was like, actually, there really is a business here. We need to do something about this, because there's Martin Lewis at the time. Everyone knows Martin. He's amazing for what he does, but isn't necessarily relevant to absolutely everyone. So I felt like there wasn't really anyone driving the younger people, younger generations of the time. Now I've come to find, obviously, there's a fantastic financial community out there, but at the time there wasn't. And so I jumped headfirst into, and my slogan for my business is helping Britain get financially fit. So kind of taking that fitness angle.
Oh, that's cool. That's so my strapline is healthy wealth, body and mind.
Oh, cool. Like that too. Yeah.
Because you're right, like there's so many similarities between money and physical health, but mental health, because it's like all right, money's not going to make you happy, okay, but money gives you choices, and if you don't have any money, then you probably are going to be, you might be unhappy, and you may well have, mental health issues if you're in 24 grand's worth of debt or 16 grand's worth of debt that I definitely had mental health issues. When you have that much uncontrollable, I don't know how I'm going to pay the mortgage next month kind of
Yeah.
thoughts. So, I think we have to talk about the whole suite of money, body and mind.
I completely agree with you. And look, there was a study came out by a doctor at the NHS that said 91% of stress-related illnesses usually have something to do with money thrown in there. And that is, for me, an enormous thing that we're obviously, a large portion of this country is battling with. We have an increase in stress-related illnesses. We have an increase in costs. And there's very much a marriage there in terms of how people are feeling on a day-to-day. So if you can actually get someone's mindset right and their money right at the same time, the kind of cocktail, when it comes together, is extremely powerful.
Yeah. Can I just ask, so I just want to ask you a little bit about debts, because it will be really relevant to people listening, because so many people are in debt, and maybe the level you were, maybe the level I was in debt, but you said you had a light bulb moment. What what was that moment? What made you think, oh my gosh, let me
Yeah,
have this
so
up. I need to pay
great
it back.
question. Great question. I tell this story to everyone because it does actually set off light bulb moments in a lot of people. So basically, a friend of mine, we were sitting on a beach. His name's Callum. He's an absolute legend, and he was doing really, really well for himself. All of our mates look up to him. We call him the chairman just because he's just got his shit together, basically. Um, but he's also a top bloke, a really top bloke. And he said to me, when do you want to retire? And, being 20, young's in my 20s, I was like, yeah, 50 would be nice. And he said, well, when do you want to pass away? And I said, well, I'd love to get to 80. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Good innings
Yeah.
and that. I think anything less and I'd be disappointed, kind of thing. And
Mm.
he went, all right, cool. Well, that's 30 years. How much are you spending a year at the moment? I said, oh, about 30 grand, I think. And he said, right, well, take that 30 grand and times that by 30 years. That's £900,000. Do you have that?
Oh
And
my God.
I went, ugh! And I hadn't told anybody about my debt. It had been rising. I hadn't told my partner at the time. I hadn't told my mum,
Oh,
my friends,
Sammy.
family. It was completely like a hidden thing because I was kind of basically keeping up with the Joneses mentality of like, my friends are out, my
Yeah.
friends bought new trainers, my friends went on holiday. I had to. And I was well paid in my job. I was doing very, very well. So, like I wasn't really worried about it at all. It was just like hanging in the background. What I thought I didn't worry about it. That's the main thing. You kind of put these mental blockers in place that it doesn't exist. And then all of a sudden, I just poured out to my friend Callum, and he told me to read this book, and it was How to Achieve Financial Independence and Retire Early. It's an Audible course by JD Roth. Really,
Yeah.
really easy to read. He also was massively deep in debt and now goes around the world teaching people how to go from debt to like high net worth in a
Yeah.
matter of a decade or two.
Yeah.
And I just listened to this book and I was like, whoa, that's it. Like life is different for me now. I am a new person. So I did have a very like big epiphany kind of
Mm.
moment, which it happens to some people later in life. And it's totally fine if that does happen to you in later in life. And it's not necessarily about timing. It just happened to
Mm.
happen to me at that time. And I was very lucky to have the friend that I did. But
Yeah.
yeah, I know people that this has happened to in their 50s and their 30s and their 40s, but it will happen to you at some point, and then you'll suddenly go, I need to get my shit in order. And so I did, and that was where the journey and kind of began for me, really.
That's amazing. I mean, what a friend! Like, what an amazing friend, and that's
Yeah.
a really important thing to say. Actually, is because we've got a very similar journey, except that I had the epiphany at the age of 40, and it was turning 40 which did it for me. Um, I think you just sort of get caught up in your own world of your 9 to 5 job, which
Yeah.
before lockdown a lot of us were doing.
Mm.
And you sort of think, well, this is how my life's going to be. Like, I'm going to earn. I mean, I was an accountant, so I was earning like really good money in my 20s and 30s. I'm bringing in whatever 4 or 5 grand a month. Okay, it's just a matter of life that I have to pay 500 of that to debt.
Mm.
Um, but then my life significantly changed, and I became self-employed when I was 37, and sort of buried my head in the sand for a few years, and then eventually took my head out and was like, oh yeah, now you've got 16 grand's worth of debt and you spent all the redundancy money you got from EE. You're in a bit of a mess, Lynn. But it's just, I just think we get so used to the life ladder, the traditional outlook of life, which is you go to school, you get some qualifications, then you go get a job, then you get married, then you have
Hmm.
babies, and you get a mortgage. Like, and
Yeah.
I have totally broken free from that life ladder stuff because, the biggest thing that the thing for me was paying off my debt. 2 months later, I split from my ex-husband because he partly caused the debt. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. And I've broken the life ladder because I just needed to. I needed to change it.
Reset.
I would never go back to 9 to 5. I work the hours I want and I love
Yeah.
my job. I'm very privileged to be able to do that. And I had to go through the pain. But yeah, it sounds like very similar to you. And you had that epiphany at like 25, which is amazing.
I was lucky. I was lucky because I think if I hadn't
Yeah.
had that chat on that beach in that moment in time, I'd probably I would probably say I may even still be doing that now and had never have come on this entire path. So it's amazing what happens to people at different moments, and then like one tiny fate moment in history just like turns you into a different person. Because if you'd have said to me 10 years ago you'd be teaching personal finance and you'd reached over 150 million people in 2024, I'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, there's just no way it's going to happen. But here we are. And so, yeah, but I wouldn't change it for the world, you know, like
Yeah.
now both of us are on a mission to like seriously help as many people as we possibly can. And what
Yeah.
that's done is created lifestyle businesses for ourselves at the same time, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So like I'm really intrigued to understand your sort of growth as, up the games, because
Mm,
you've only really come onto like, so I've been going for 11 years. I've been around forever.
mm.
I am Martin Lewis, but I'm a woman. And I've been in loads of debt and I'm not a millionaire, so I'm a lot
Yeah.
more relatable, let's just say.
Yeah.
Um, and by the way, I also think it's really important to have experienced financial difficulties when you are a personal finance expert, which we
Mm,
are, because you know the struggle, you know the mental health issues, and you are authentic because you've been through it, right?
mm-hmm.
No offense to all these financial advisors and staff who pretend they've got loads of money, because I know the average salary for a financial advisor is around £50,000 a year, which isn't it's all right, but it's not amazing money. Yeah, I just think it's really, if you're getting some kind of guidance from a person in the online world, is make sure they've got, the things to back them up, that they've got the experience, they've got qualifications, because, and I know that you've talked about this online, I think a lot of us are talking about it online, is there's a lot of people out there who are just spouting off shit and they don't know what they're talking about. So you need to be really careful who you listen to
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a warning there. But yeah, just tell me about what's happened in the last couple of years, because you've got like so many followers on Instagram.
It's been explosive growth. Um, Yeah, it has really been explosive growth in the last sort of 6 months. But we've kind of built the foundations. So I've been in marketing for 15 years now. And
Yeah.
so we've taken multiple startups from zero to multi-millions, sold them on, etc. And like,
Wow.
I've kind of got that startup mentality
Yeah.
of just like being in the trenches and then all of a sudden seeing hockey stick growth. And that is what happens in business. Like when they say overnight success takes 10 years, it really does. It is true. Um, but usually in year 3 of a business, that's when you start to see exponential growth if you've been building everything right.
You are so
Um,
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is that what you've
It's like
seen
a
as well?
pattern, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's exactly every single business follows the same thing, right? Year one, you lucky if you break even, use the money, you make a shit ton of mistakes, and you figure it out, right? And you just get through. It's usually very difficult. That's where all your grey hairs come from. And then
Yeah.
year 2, you make a bit of money. Suddenly, you're starting to get a bit of traction. You figure stuff out. You might get your first couple of deals in, or you launch your first
Yeah.
product and it does quite well. And because you've learned from your first product launch, which failed in the first year, for example, and then, suddenly you've got a bigger mailing list, a larger community, people understand you, and most importantly, they then start to trust you. No matter what industry you're in, this is the exact same pattern.
Mm,
Trust becomes a
mm,
factor here. You're not just a new kid
mm.
on the block anymore. They've seen you more than 7 times, which is what it takes for someone to purchase or believe in you. And then, yeah, year 3, you see this exponential growth. And that's kind of exactly what's happened. And it's just been really interesting to see when it's on my own business rather than somebody
Yeah.
else's money. And I'm now like hugely pushing the mantra that I do believe anybody can do this as well, because we kind of, going back to the original conversation of like, you go to school, you get a mortgage, you da 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 da. What we have done is trained people since 1939. Henry Ford and J.D. Rockefeller put in place the school system. It's very much similar to that today, which was designed to create yes men, factory workers, essentially, which go
Yes,
into a
women.
corporate lifestyle. Women now as well, like, wow, that's been a massive development, right? As well, women are now included in education in a lot of ways, but that, and still though, the same thing happens to women. Is the outcome is that they just go into work. There's no entrepreneurial mindset. It's designed to create workers for the entrepreneurs, for the businessmen, which is usually the rich and the upper class in a lot of cases,
Yep.
right? So I am hugely against that, because what that does is puts people on autopilot. We're then fed debt in terms of mortgage, credit cards, and the way that society's laid out, to then essentially create a system where you're stuck in a loop and you require your 9 to 5 salary to pay back the banks and the credit cards. And so you feel trapped in terms of your life, which then puts you on autopilot, which then creates mental problems. And that's why you see 50-year-olds driving around in red sports cars, because they have like midlife crises. So that's how it works. And I just came across this stat,
Nailed
and
it.
it's like 90% of people hate their jobs. And I was like, right, we've got a cost of living crisis and 9 out of 10 people hating where they work. We need to do something about this and show people. And the interesting thing is with the press is that they say, so it's a lie, by the way, that 66% of businesses fail in their first 3 years. That's not true. It's 18.4%. And even when they spin the numbers in the press, they say a whopping 18.4%. That is less than 4 and 5. So you tell me 4 out of 5 ideas that you could have and you could start a business will work or will do okay, and you won't take that risk. That's an extremely good bet, in my opinion. So
Yeah,
we need more
totally.
business owners. We need more people to start taking risks. We need more people to step out of their autopilot and realize that they've been programmed. And I want to try and change as many people there, because if we can get more business owners, more ideas, it fuels the economy, and it also creates a happier and more rich lifestyle for our society.
I Amen. I, I just love that message, and we are so aligned. I absolutely love it. I am so happy with my job and what I do, and
Mm,
I know you are as well. And because it comes across in the Instagram stories you put out, you know, where you're just having a little chat when you're out for a walk. Um, and why do I love my job? I mean, you probably have different reasons, but I've literally got the best job in the world because I'm saving millions of people
mm,
loads of money, and particularly women, because I am more women focused.
yeah,
Women are still not focused on enough in the financial world, with banks and insurance
100%.
companies and investment companies and all the rest of it. They are still run mostly by white male middle class men. And this is the reality. You know, there's still a massive gender pay gap. There's a massive pension gap. There's a massive bloody credit rating gap. There's a massive debt gap. And this is not going to change in our generation, not my kids' generation, probably not even my grandkids' generation. And it
Yeah.
makes me absolutely sick. But there are some really good people out there, like you and I, who are working our bloody asses off and talking to the government and lobbying and influencing
Policy.
unfortunately, that's often the way you have to go, is lobbying the
Yeah.
people who actually make decisions. But we're so damn powerful with our social media numbers that the government are having to turn around now and say, okay, we need to listen to Mr. Money Jar. We need to listen to, Abby from Elent Finance and people like us, because between us, we've got millions and millions of followers. So,
Mm.
I just think I think it's absolutely brilliant, that message, and we need to get out of this life ladder way of thinking because it doesn't make you happy.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all.
And um and what oh, sorry, I've got a fly which is really annoying me. It's but what it did to me was I just ended up wanting to break the model, and
Yeah.
I destroyed my life as you would know it to get out of that model. So I mean, it wasn't a great relationship I had with my ex-husband, but I ended it because I needed to change my life. I needed to reinvent myself, because yeah, being an accountant working for EE or HSBC, brilliant, you earn loads of money, but you're a yes woman or a yes man. And when you run your own business, I mean, we should talk about what you think the advantages of running your own business are, and the
Yeah.
disadvantages, because it's not easy.
No, absolutely. Just to be clear, it's very much not. But going back to what you said about you almost having that kind of burning the bridges moment, old me's, shedding out, almost just like a snake, like shedding that old skin
Yes.
and coming out, right? Like it's very common for that to happen, but it's extremely painful. I'm sure that year or two for you was
Oh,
probably the hardest of your life, but it
it
made you
still
into the
is.
human that you are today. Yeah, I
It
can only
never ends.
imagine. And so, yeah, people can kind of stop that happening to themselves by doing a really simple exercise, and it's called ikigai. It's a Japanese technique to essentially find your purpose in life, but equally as well what you can be paid for. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to come up with a business idea. It could be a changing career. Which is totally fine too, if that's what your purpose and what will make you happy. And essentially, it's a really simple exercise. It's 4 rings that interconnect. The first being what you love, the second being what you're good at. Then you look at those two and where they connect, and then you take the winner from that part of the exercise and you put it into what the world needs. So this could be during in that space, what the world needs. Where are the things that people need help with in the world, along with that area that you've highlighted? And the last thing is how you can be paid for that, and that will lead you to a career path or a business idea which you one, absolutely love, two, you're relatively good at or can upskill in because you love it, so
Wow,
you're happy to upskill in that area, and then 3, you can be paid for it, and also you're going to help people or serve people in some particular
that's
way.
so simple.
It's really simple, and it's honestly the most powerful thing. Anyone listening to this can do it. You just kind of a lot of blokes that do this struggle. So if there are people listening to this that are blokes, what I'll say to you is just let your ego go, and even
Yeah.
women as well. Just let your ego go. Whatever comes out comes out. It's not designed to trip you up in any way. This is designed to really just unpack who you are as an individual, but equally as well give you something that you can do and latch onto. So if we then get up every single morning working towards something that we absolutely enjoy, even if that's 30 minutes a day at the beginning, because you have a mortgage and 2 kids and a car on finance, so you can't necessarily just burn the bridge, but you can start working towards it and make yourself a plan once you've got that purpose in life. So
Mm.
yeah, what was the original question? I forgot. I just went off on a tangent. So I think it was
The
the.
the question
Go on.
was, share what you think the advantages of being self-employed are and the disadvantages.
Right. Yes. So I'm not against the 9 to 5. I'm against the people inside the 9 to 5 that are doing it for the sake of doing it rather than necessarily being happy in it. We need people to make glasses, the chairs that we sit in, deliver our
Yeah.
things. It fuels the economy. So I'm not against that at all in any way, but I am pro self-employment simply because I feel like there is a lot more power in that area and you can exponentially grow your wealth.
Yeah.
Rather than being told what you're worth by your employer or your payer, essentially, is what it used to be called. And so for me, self-employment has the advantages of, for example, this morning, my morning has consisted of me popping to the PT, dropping in, getting a matcha from my favourite coffee thing, coming back, having a shower, taking a dog round the block, and then jumping on a podcast with Lynn, and then I'm going to do a bit of emails. It's a bit hot this afternoon, and at 5 o'clock I'm off to play golf. So like that's
That's a
not a
good
typical
day.
Wednesday for me, just to be clear. But that's what's the reality. It doesn't.
Yeah,
But then this Saturday and Sunday, I was doing a product launch with 3 workshops this weekend, so I was
yeah,
extremely busy, and so I've then let myself have Wednesday as my day of just like a little bit, right,
yeah,
just calm down a little bit. But if I want to go to the gym at 11 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, I can,
yeah,
because I control my time. There are, when you start a business, you're doing 16, 18-hour days to get it off the ground, and if you
yeah,
really want it to get off the ground, a lot of the times that's what you need to do. But if you've done your ikigai and you love what you do, it's really not a chore. For me, this business is like playing Xbox 247 365. I'm like in my dream. So and
yeah,
also I'm having impact on people. And when you hear the
yeah,
impact you're creating, it fuels you even more and you want to do more. And so yes, my partner will tell me I work too much, but then I turn around and say to her, like, this is like a hobby for me. I find business really fun. And so
yeah,
um, that's the benefits. The negatives are, especially as a solo business owner, it can be quite lonely. So
yeah.
integrating yourself back into society, I did shut myself in a room for 6 months. That's not healthy for you.
No,
You can burn out because no one's telling you not to work. So you
yeah,
do have to
yeah,
just
yeah,
kind of be conscious about your health alongside that too. Yes, there is
yeah,
certain elements of sacrifice with social life, etc. at the beginning, but that's come back now tenfold because my business is going. I have systems in place. I'm ahead of time. I've planned everything, and now
yeah,
if I want to just take a day off, I really just could, but I don't want to because I love it. Right. So there's um
yeah.
there's a balance I'm playing with, but that's kind of the both sides of the coin. And yeah, sorry, go on.
I'll add in when you've got children. So I've got 3 boys who are 16, 14, and 11. And I think one of the catalysts for me giving up the corporate world was, what's the point of having children if you're not going to spend time with them? And
Yeah, yeah, totally,
my
totally
eldest,
agree.
but I think you have to also bear in mind that I was an accountant, working for EE at the time in Paddington. So I had an hour and a quarter commute to get into London. I absolutely hated it. I had I had a female boss who didn't have kids, who hated me because I was trying to do the career and the family thing, and I was actually doing it really well. But she, in a meeting, I was really upset because I'd missed like a sports day or something because of work, and she was like, "You need to choose between your family and your career."
Oh God, why,
And
man?
but the thing is, Sammy, is the worst comments often come from women who are trying to play in a man's world,
Resentment, right? Isn't it?
or
Surely.
work in a man's world. Which, yes, I wouldn't recommend that. But I've lost my train of thought now because my son's just walked in. It was, oh yeah, talking about EA. So that literally was the epiphany of why I needed to quit the rat race, was that
Yeah,
conversation with that woman. And I just made a mental note in my head then, right, I'm leaving this company and I am going to leave with money.
yeah,
So
yeah.
6 months later, I'd got a compromise agreement sorted, which was like 40 grand. I was like,
Nice.
I am worth it. Like, I had a high salary and I had like 4 or 5 years service. So and most of that's tax free because the first 30 grand is tax free of redundancy.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, right, I've got 40 grand now. I'm not going to pay off my mortgage with it, which is what risk adverse people would maybe do.
Yes.
I went straight to Prada and I bought myself a beautiful Prada bag, which was £1,200. And then
Hats off to you, Lynn. That's fucking great. I love
I
that.
love Prada. I'm sorry, but I do.
Yeah, but
And
you've
I'm
always
not
wanted
gonna
it, right? As a
if you
reward to
like
yourself, if you didn't do that with some of that money, that would have been really silly not to, if that's what you really wanted.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I maybe went a little bit over the top. Like we
The few
we
holidays and
went
stuff.
we went to Las Vegas.
Oh, it's standard.
Blah blah
Right,
blah.
cool. Yeah.
But I had this pot of money that I knew would keep me going for a certain amount of time whilst I was building my business, because I was the breadwinner at the time. So, 40 grand, even when it's tax free, doesn't actually last that long when you live
No.
in the southeast and your mortgage is
And
a
you've got
thousand
three
pounds a month
boys.
and three boys.
Yeah.
So yeah, the money. I'd done my sums. I worked out the money would last me 2 years, but it didn't. It actually only lasted me 18 months. My business, as you say, year one of Mrs. Mummypenny was 5 grand turnover. Obviously made a loss. Year two was like 20 grand turnover, still made a loss. And it wasn't until year three. So it literally does follow that exact model. You and I are both proven examples. And but yeah, I just wasn't earning enough money, and that's where the debt really racked up. But yeah,
But you're here.
it's just I'm a believer in sort of epiphany moments and reinvention of yourself, because we're only on this planet once.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
people who listen to me regularly know that I talk about death quite a lot, because like my parents died when they were 58 and 63. Like I was like a teenager, and okay, they didn't look after themselves. No, actually, that's a lie. So my dad fought for this country. He was in the Marines, he was in the army, and then he joined the MOD. So he served the country his entire life, and he retired at 60, and then he died. So
It's
there's
mad how
no
that
way in the
happens, isn't it?
world I'm going to be in that situation. Like my 16-year-old son now, that's literally like me dropping dead tomorrow. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. I have very good life insurance in place, just to point out, if that so does happen, my
Same
children will
here.
become billionaires.
Yeah, legit same. Yeah.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? Like, we're only
What I will
here
say to
once.
that though, I just think that don't wait for that epiphany moment. Like
Yeah,
a lot of people wait for it to happen to them, and you could be waiting until you're 50. Like that's not, go out and seek it. Like in your gut right now listening to this. And then often I had someone on the podcast the other day, Becca Donovan. She's amazing, by the way. You should definitely check her out for your podcast. She is awesome. She's a mindset coach. I She said one thing to me, and I've been doing it now to myself since she said it, and with absolutely everything that's holding me back. And she said, um, when you say, oh, when you tell yourself, oh, yeah, maybe I'll do it soon, ask yourself why you did that. And then don't say it once, say it 5 times to yourself. Because right at the bottom of it all, usually you just say, I'm actually quite scared of doing that. And so you go,
yeah.
like I'm doing it at the moment. Like I really wanted to book this solo trip for so long. I really wanted to go on it. And I don't know why. And I've just been going, I've been telling myself I'm actually too busy. But when I actually got to the bottom of it, I'm actually a little bit scared to just go and do it. I don't know what it is.
Wow.
And so and she talks about ways as well about how you can transfer that over into like your life, right? Like, why have you not gone and you've got an idea sitting around in your brain right now? Tell me why you haven't done it. Why? Oh, because the market's too saturated. Why? Oh, because I don't know how to do the marketing. Why? Because these reasons. Why? I'm scared. I'm scared of it. I am scared. And so when you say that to yourself, it's totally okay, because our brains are designed to keep us comfortable. They don't like routine breaks. We have a chimp brain at the front that just likes it how it is. And as soon as you step out of that, it's designed to go, you're going to die. What are you doing? And so if you put that in place into your life and into your finances, and you just understand, yeah, I am scared about this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then just put the work in, and you will become you will grow and exponentially when you do that. And so I think that's something that I would take away from that episode, just because she said it
I'm
to
gonna
me and
listen.
I've just
She
been
sounds
doing it.
amazing.
She's great, honestly great. And so I just was like doing this now and everything that I'm doing, and is getting to the root cause of it a lot faster. And then guess what? I booked the trip. So,
Oh,
so it can
where are you
happen.
going?
I just want to walk around the mountains in Switzerland.
Oh my
So
God.
it's been on my Instagram feed. I follow like 10 I love like Swiss accounts or like travel influencers from Switzerland. And you know, when you just like, I always, something in me is telling me you need to go and see it. And my other half has
Yeah.
been, so she's not fussed. So I'm like, been saying, oh, well, I'll just go because I really like walking and like, you know, Audible books. I'll just tune out for 6 hours, like no
Yeah.
problem. Um, but I think I just want to go to this one point and stand there and look at this one little bit of view. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And so yeah, it's happening now.
Um, my
The lad's
son's
home.
trying to pour a smoothie next to me, and he needs to stir it with a wooden spoon, and it'll. Anyway.
I love this. This is live in the BT household. This is quality.
Um, what I was going to say to you was, one of my really good friends is a lawyer. She lives in Geneva, and she also owns a chalet in the mountains. So
Oh,
I'm
cool.
going to hook you up.
Oh, hell yeah. Please do. I've been like planning out routes and stuff. I'm going to do one day in Geneva as well. So,
Oh,
because
well, no,
I've got an,
I'll email you with her email address,
oh,
and then you can.
please
I'll
do.
introduce you. She's
Yes.
amazing.
Love this.
She's called
Cool.
Julie. I went to
Cool.
university with her.
Oh, lovely.
Right, that's enough now. I'm making quite a lot of noise. So yeah, what I was going to say to you was, resources. So
Mm,
the first book that jumps to my mind, talking about what you were previously talking about, was the first ever self-help book I ever read was Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan
mhm.
Jefferson.
Brilliant.
And I read it when I was 22 in working for HSBC, my first graduate job, earning bloody ridiculous amount of money. Like when I look back, and I, yeah, spent it all, mainly on holidays. And it was such a life changing book because it describes exactly what you're saying. You just have to, yeah, feel the fear and do it anyway. And it's really
Yes.
scary. And I've
Mm,
taken massive risks with my life. I've walked away from jobs, I've walked away from relationships, I've walked away from locations. And
hmm.
it's not because it's fight or flight. It's literally, I've just worked out this is not working. I am not happy. I have to extract myself from this situation.
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes. And don't like get stuck because you're getting a paycheck at the end of the month and that just,
yeah.
oh, we're getting paid and yeah, we're off to Marbella in August and da 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 da. And everything
Mm,
is rosy. But underneath it, you know that something isn't right and it will brew and it will brew and it will brew and it will brew and eventually it
yeah.
will go pop. And that when that happens, that's a lot more painful than it is if you just identify what that is now and actually do
Mm.
things in.
And
And you know, even if it's like taking a bloody evening course in sewing because you love
yeah,
it, right?
because you
Go
love
and
it.
do it. Go and do it. No
Yeah.
one cares. Like, honestly, no one cares. No one's going to judge you for doing what you're doing. And also, the thing is, as well, is what I'll say is that, like, your friends and family won't understand you. And that's totally cool too. Because, like, if you ask my mum now, she'll say, what does he do? Oh, he does like some TikTok-y sort of stuff. That's what legit what she'll say, right? Um,
Yeah.
but she's not supposed to understand it, and because why? Because it's for you, it's not for them, and so
Mm.
don't let yourself be like these are all little things you're going to tell yourself, like the little stumbling blocks. I'm not worthy. I'm not an expert. I'm not. I'm. You
Mm.
know, what are my friends and family going to think? Oh, I don't know how to do that, so I'm not going to do those things. They're all the little lies that you're going to tell yourself to stop you doing it. But actually, you just
Yeah.
got to go and do the work and do what makes you happy.
Oh, absolutely love it. So, what other books would you say are really inspiring that people need to read, or not necessarily a book, maybe somebody to follow on Instagram or TikTok or
So I really love the Chris Williamson Modern Wisdom podcast, and just
okay,
opened my brain a little bit to
I'm gonna
how
write that
sort of
down.
world and society works. He's a really interestingly was a club promoter turned Love Island is one of the first series of Love Island, and then
Oh,
now he has the number one mindset podcast in the entire world. So like extremely smart person, but
what's it
if you'd have
called?
said Chris Williamson. He's a good-looking chap as well. So for the ladies, if you're looking at him at 2 hours on camera, you're not going to be disappointed, definitely. But look, he has some very interesting guests on, some very controversial guests on as well. But some of the longer episodes with, the likes of like Andrew Huberman and sort of your Tim Ferrisses and people like that are just eye openers to how the world and actually really does work, and how our minds and our bodies are all interconnected. And so I've been swearing by that for the last year, and it has been really, really helpful.
Oh, that's such a good shout. My favourite podcast is The Rest is Politics.
Oh, cool. Someone else said this to me the other
Because
day, actually, but I've not heard it before.
so I mean, it's one of the most popular podcasts in the country, and that's because
Yeah,
of Alistair Campbell and
yeah.
Rory Stewart. They're so intelligent and they're so engaging, and they're politically, quite balanced. Rory was a Tory, Alistair was a Labour. Although I'm not sure that Rory is a Tory anymore. Because of everything that's gone on. And this is going out after the election, so we will finally know what's happening by then. But I'm so switched off by politics because it makes me so angry about the
Mm,
last 14 years and what a state this country is in. I'll do a
hmm.
little rant because I think it's really important. Everything is a mess. So the mental health system, the NHS, education system, the
Childcare.
environment. I could just go on and on and on. So many things that closely impact my and your life are through the floor. I can't even put my feet into my local river because it's full of shit. And it just makes me so, so angry that, hopefully we can move to a world with some change. But
Mm.
the Rest is Politics podcast, they talk about these kind of issues so you understand in a 1 hour slot once or twice a week. And they have a Q&A one as well. And I really recommend it just to get that little fix. Then you don't have to watch the news because the news is so bloody depressing.
Yeah, no, I can't. That's another big thing for me as well. I'm on a news sabbatical, and I have been since, yeah, when is it? So 3 months now, uh,
Wow.
and it's great. I don't know what's going on, and I don't care. And it's like, and
Yeah.
I'm very happy with that. I'm choosing what I will listen to and not. I do not have opinion, and I do not want to be swayed by the opinions of others. And I'm just big on like, yes, I do, have some level of sway, but it's a tiny and not tiny, tiny or not amount. And so I don't want to worry about things that I have absolutely no hope in hell being able to influence, or,
Yeah.
you know, wars in all these different far remote countries from our other places. And do I think they're wrong or right? Like, yes, of course I do. I'm a human being. I don't want to see other human beings get hurt, but I can't influence it. So I'm not going to spend my brain power, a small amount of brain power that I have in my day, stressing and worrying over that. I've got my to deal with and the people in front of me and my family to look after,
Yeah.
not necessarily. So that's what my focus is. And some people might
Yeah.
take offense to that, and I see your point, but that's just the way that I've chosen to live. And actually, feel way more free. I feel way less cloudy. I don't have this like we're all going to die and World War III is going to kick off tomorrow feeling, which is what I was getting when I was just watching the
Yeah.
news at 10 every night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like 99.7% of news stories are negative. So why would I do that to myself?
Yeah. And I think, but also like, the most important thing in my life is me, is
Yeah.
my health, my mental health and my physical health. Okay. And I'm going through perimenopause and it's really fucking hard. I
Mm,
can't stabilize my hormones and so much stuff is going on that I've got a lot of people helping me with. And it's my kids. Okay.
mhm, mhm.
That is what I am prioritizing at the moment. But the great thing about the work is that it's the work is bigger picture, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
are impacting other people's lives in what we do. We are helping people to save money. We're inspiring change in people. We're giving people hope. I get so many messages from women. Like, I'm very open and honest at talking about everything and anything. I get so many messages from women who are going through divorces, who are struggling with family issues. Maybe their parents have gone into care and, they're having to do everything. The mother load. The mother load is such an issue for women in current times because
And
we
it's
are
usually the women, isn't it,
told.
that do the care and do the family and do the work there, and I think a lot of the time, for me, it doesn't go unnoticed, but it can do a lot of the time. And I think it's important to say that, I think that's, why I think you're doing such an amazing job, because you're championing that for women.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely, I love it. But I'm sure you get the same. The DMs you get from people on Instagram is where I get most of my interaction, because Instagram's a friendly place, I
Yeah,
find, mostly.
relatively. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been getting quite a lot of trolls for the last sort of 4 weeks, but then that's
You
because,
will on
I
a
had a
viral
viral.
content. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I had one, the buying the house one. I think it's crazy. It did like 4 million views. But if you go in the content, if you go in the comments, it's just cesspit. And it's totally
yeah,
fine. It's just people just reflecting how they feel, and you're never going to please everybody, and you're never going to agree with everybody. And in fact, I don't want to. And that's something that I've come to
yeah,
realize as a content creator. Like, this is how I think, and this is how it's not necessarily how everybody else does. So coming to accept that, it's been a lesson for sure. Because the first time you're like, here, like, you're this, and you're like, no, I'm not. Like, and
I've had so many people telling me I'm a shit parent.
yeah. Exactly. Like, it gets deep,
Like,
man. It gets deep. There's some.
that's
That was me
so
being very.
offensive.
Yeah. Basically, every body part I've got has been called out at some point, and it's just like completely incredible. That people will openly say this stuff like that on the internet, but that is a small portion of a large amount of
Yeah,
people. And actually, what we've done with those posts is generally trying to change people's thinking, right? So
yeah,
it's if it helps, even if it helps 10%, it's done its job as far as I'm concerned.
yeah. No, you're right. You're right. And let the haters hate.
Yeah,
I don't care.
yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, right. Well, There's one other thing that I wanted to ask you about,
yeah.
because
Of course.
I'm talking to so many people about this and learning so much about it. Is AI.
Okay.
So I use AI in my job. So AI edits my podcast and creates social media snippets for me, and it does it in about 10 seconds.
Yeah,
And I was going to pay an editor £50 an hour to do that for me. So it's literally saving me 150 quid per episode of my podcast. So
yeah.
I am a big fan of AI. Um, how what do you think of it, and how far away do you think it is? I mean, if I'm using it like that, and you are probably using it as well, it is
Yeah.
here. It's not in the future. It's
Mm-hmm.
now.
Yeah, it's a good question. Look, it's going to have it's going to be the internet of our society. It's the next huge thing that's going to massively change how we work. If you think about pre-internet, you'd have ledgers and books and telephones, and that was it, right? You need to meet me at this
Pen.
time, and I'm going to write my directions out on a piece of paper and look at an ordnance map while I'm driving the car and try not to crash, right? Like, that was our life pre-internet. And so the internet has come in and completely changed that. Now AI is going to be the next phase of that, and where it's going to impact the most is generally in jobs which are easily automated. And so if you are in a job like that, then I would 110% be looking to upskill yourself, so you are the one handling the AI, rather than necessarily just being weighted to them being need to move into a different industry because your job is being done in a matter of seconds by a computer's brain. So just think about that. Yes, AI is very powerful. My other half is in film. A lot of the writers and editors are very worried
Oh
about
yeah.
the way that things are going in that space. And so, look, it's going to happen. So it's not something that's going to happen now. It'll be quite a swift change, I would imagine. I think in the next sort of 5 to 10 years, we'll see an enormous difference. It's going fast. It's now essentially when you've got a language model for something, that's when it becomes very real. But AI was integrated in our life already for the past 10, 15 years. We just don't notice it as much.
Alexa, right?
Exactly. So you've got
Sammy.
many different things. There you go. Yeah. Hello, Lynn. What would you want to listen to? Radio 2, please. Yeah. Look, it's coming. So just learn about it, because I use it in my business as my extra 20%, and also to just like sense check me on stuff. So I'll write this piece. What do you guys think of it? What am I missing? What have I not thought of? It's right. I'm writing it for this type of person who's struggling with X, Y, and Z. What are some other limiting beliefs or other desires or other things or other issues that they are facing that I am not covering? You're missing X, Y, and Z, like that. 3 things. Oh wow, something is so much better. And so that's what I use it for. It allows me to work at 100% and adds my 20% in there. It means I don't need copywriter bills or fancy copywriting for sales pages. I just give it a sales page that works already and say craft it for this project and talk to it and it spits me out something that's great. Amazing. So it's amazing, and it's only going to get better. And so, embrace it and learn about it, rather than just going, oh, something's going to happen to me, and and being in that victim mentality. Like, get out of that mentality and embrace it.
You sounded like David Bowie there.
It's my best Bowie impression.
I think we'll end it on a nod
on my Bowie.
The Lord, David
Sir David. Yeah.
Okay. That's such a brilliant conversation. I have to end it because we've been talking for a long time. I could talk to you easily for another 2 hours, but we will get a chance to do that because I'm going to record your podcast. So
yes,
you've got more content to come, people.
100%. Looking forward to it.
So can you just tell everybody where to find you on the internet, and also if you've got anything like really cool coming up?
Yeah, of course. So Up the Gains Money on all of our social media channels. We're most active on Instagram. We have over 300 free guides on our website, which is upthegains.co.uk. We've got 30,000 people on an online community where we do like free lessons once a week about different money topics, which the audience decides as well. So it's cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's really good fun. I just love it. And so if you do have questions, like I'm not one of those creators like that will never respond to DMs. I respond to every single message that someone sends me because I feel like it's important. And often I send voice notes back as well to help them with that problem. So please, if you have something that you want to chat about or something that's come up from this conversation today that you need help with, message me or Lynn. Yeah, we're always happy to help.
Wow. You've got a lot of free resources on your website. I mean, I think what I can learn from you is I've got so much content that I've been doing for the last 11 years. And I think you are doing a very good job at sharing your existing content with people and really building your follower numbers way, way better than because you think I'm 11 years in and I've got 60,000 followers across everything. You've got like 150 or whatever just on Instagram. So I think I need to learn some lessons from what you are doing.
I can send you some stuff.
Yeah, cool. All right then. Thank you so much, Sammy.
Cheers,
I
Lynn.
really appreciate your time. This has been an amazing discussion. People watching, listening, mostly listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Like, it's really important to people like us that you subscribe to our wonderful podcasts, and go check out Sammy's podcast as well because it's really, really good. You've interviewed some incredible people. Cool. Thank you ever so much.
Cheers.